Haunting in Venice is the new, what's the guy's name? What's his name?
Hercule Poirot.
Hercule Poirot.
Hercule Poirot.
Yeah. Kenneth Branagh loves this
Kenny
character.
B.
Kenny B loves being a little silly detective man with a funny little accent.
What accent is it? I thought it was Belgian the first time I heard it. I don't know why.
It was very French coded.
Is it French?
It was very French coded in this film.
Poirot.
Keep in mind, right, so I have not seen the Murder on the Orient Express or Death on the Nile.
Yeah, not like me. I'm a Death on the Nile head.
You've seen those. You're a big fan, you know.
I'm the one person, no, genuinely, I'm the only person in the universe who dislikes Murder on the Orient Express.
But likes Death on the Nile.
But gives Death of the Nile a pass.
When Gal Gadot said that there's enough champagne to fill the Nile.
To fill the Nile.
You were like...
When Armie Hammer got on his knees and started fucking eating legs.
It was great.
I was
You were like, this is cinema. But yeah, so I have not seen either of them. And... I wasn't really planning on seeing this one, but like, I saw the trailer. Yeah. Very first trailer.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this looks like, I remember seeing it and like thinking, oh, is this some like new horror movie that's coming out?
Yeah.
And then I saw that little fucking mustache to prick like appear. Yeah, because the trailer, that first trailer, they hide him.
Yeah.
They keep him away. Until at the very end.
They make sure to only include him in the one jump scare.
Like, in the one, like the most horror shots of the movie. They really push this as a horror movie.
Yeah, which is hilarious.
Which is really funny, because I'm assuming they did that to entice people to go and see it. Which, it fucking worked on me. They might as well have just put, like, fucking hypnosis over, like, ooh, you want to see this so bad.
It's so funny that you went to see an hour and a half long murder mystery with one horror shot.
With one slightly spooky shot.
That was in the trailer.
That's in the trailer.
It wasn't just in the trailer, it was the marketing.
All of like the vaguely like horror shots in the movie.
Yeah, are in the trailer.
Are in the trailer.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So, I don't mind murder mysteries.
Yeah.
I think they're fine. I think they're, you know, but I wasn't really that interested in the other two Poirot movies. So I was like, nah. But the fact that this one was a bit more spooky was like kind of, it got me.
See, this is the interesting thing. So obviously I've seen all three. I'm a big Hercule head. The first one, Murder on the Orient Express, I don't like because I think in all three of these films, they're at their most boring when they are bland characters being interrogated in the most bland way humanly possible. Because, for all of Kenny B's fascination with interesting camera angles and his ability to direct the fuck out of anything.
Which, that really shows in this.
The poor man, he cannot do what the Muppets Most Wanted did successfully. And he cannot give his interrogations any form of energy.
I can't fucking believe that has he ever been in a Muppets movie?
I don't think so.
That would be insane. He should be in those.
They
should. The next fucking Hercule like Poirot film, whatever.
Should be
him around with Muppets.
It's a Muppets Most Wanted remake.
Like what? Literally, just put him in.
Yeah.
Tina Fey was in it.
Fucking Murder on the Orient Express for me is just boring. Like it's just boring fucking movie because it's got nothing that makes either Haunting or Death on the Nile interesting. Because Death on the Nile gets by. As much as that is a fucking, the first hour of that takes, is the first act. And then it's like, just quickly speeds through the movie. The reason that kind of works is because of how campy its characters are. Yeah. And how campy its setting is. Yeah. And Haunting obviously gets by on its atmosphere. So these movies work when they are kind of...
They're all different in their own way.
Yeah,
they all different strands.
They work when they come up with a reason to make the interrogations enjoyable. Which this movie... It doesn't really do.
That's the thing. So the first thing I said to you when we watched it, I was like, I really, really liked the first act. Yeah. And I enjoyed the third act. Yeah. But the biggest problem of the film is... the middle of it is such a slog. Yeah. Where it's like all of the fun, because the thing is like one thing that like is just present throughout the whole thing is the film looks great. Yeah. It's really well shot. It's really creative with how it shows like, like it is like, it's not a horror movie, but it very much is like I really dig the fact that Kenneth Branagh like clearly took inspiration from many horror films, and essentially applied those kind of that kind of style onto this kind of film, which is a clever idea. Which I've not read the book, so I imagine just based on how the story unravels, that like it's not as horror driven as Kenneth Branagh makes it out to be. Yeah. Because without going into too like deep spoilers, the way like this doesn't feel as much like a who's the killer, and when they do reveal it,
it's quite underwhelming. Yeah,
it kind of like comes out of nowhere. Yeah. Like oh, we're there now. We're at the big reveal, where it's like which I would usually be against that, but I don't think that's the point of this one. Yeah. I think the story just isn't about that necessarily. No. It's not about who did it. It's a who done it, but that's not necessarily what they're focused on.
Yeah, because it's about the existence of ghosts.
Yeah, like Kenneth Branagh is clearly more focused, less on the who done it, but more on asking the questions of are ghosts real, belief, and even fame to some extent. And it's and that stuff in the film mostly is quite effective and works fairly well. It's just the problem with the film is once the murder starts, all of that stuff has to basically go out the window to become a murder mystery.
Well, exactly.
Which the murder mystery angle of the movie is clearly the weakest part of the movie because it's the most dull. Yeah. Because you've got a lot of characters, which a lot of the characters in the movie just aren't that. They haven't got that much depth to them. Yeah. So for a lot of it, you just kind of listen to them like talk to each other.
Well, I think,
and they're just not interested enough because the most interested person is the one who dies. Yeah. Like it's the which is Michelle like Yeoh is like cool like that's she's the most interested character. Yeah. But she's only in it for like a bit, and then the rest of the film carries on. Oh, who did it?
It is a weird one where it feels like the first act is kind of setting out these cool questions of, do we believe in mediums? There's one line I absolutely love that Hercule Poirot says, where he's like,
if you could understand it under the thick accent.
Where it's about the existence of ghosts and that. I don't remember the exact line, but it slaps.
He's like, there's fucking ghosts.
Man. Yeah, well, it's like a line about like arguing about why ghosts physically cannot exist or whatever, and that exploration I really, really dug in the first act.
Yeah, like it's a film. It's a very like strange film because you can tell what Kenneth Branagh is clearly more interested in. Yeah, like it's really obvious what he's more interested in. He's not as much interested in telling the murder mystery side of it. Yeah, I feel like he read the book and he was more taken on like the idea of like spirituality and ghosts. Exactly. But then, which is great, and that stuff is quite effective. And it kind of, because watching the film, it reminded me a lot of like, while it's not as effective, it reminded me a lot of like M. Night Shyamalan. Yeah. Stuff where it gets by a lot on just pure creativity. Of how can we show this stuff? How can we depict what we're looking at in a more visually interesting way?
Anytime anyone walks up a staircase, I want to have a quick wank.
Because the thing is, most of it is just in a house. Yeah. And they're just walking around the house.
But it never looks boring.
Yeah, but the way like Kenneth Branagh has presented it is really, really unique. And like honestly, like unlike a lot of films that I've seen, like the way I really like a lot of the far away shots where it almost feels like it's like CCTV almost, where it's like the camera's like just in a corner of the room, and like I really love some of those, or how like free the camera is. Yeah, it almost feels like there's like a fucking documentary crew like following the way the way the camera moves in some of these shots is so smooth.
There's genuinely not a boring fucking shot here.
No, like that is the one thing I will give it, and one thing that absolutely saves the film is visually. Yeah. Gorgeous, like easily, like I mean, like it's just Kenneth Branagh's like he's clearly a talented director. Yeah, no, he clearly has a lot of talent, and he clearly has like a very interesting vision for the movie. Yeah, it just doesn't quite come together when it comes to blending it with the fact that this is another murder mystery. That's where the big issue is that. But everything else is fairly solid. It's like the performances are good and all that. And like
I really want to see a cut, well not a cut, but a version of the film where Michelle Yeoh isn't the one who gets murdered, because it's weird. It's a film that obviously wants to explore these ideas of ghosts and wants to explore. And I love the exploration of the first act of, and it kind of continues into the rest of the film, of the chasing of fame versus, you know, and how you kind of lie to get your way up there. I really like the idea of fraud and how it explores that. So it was such a weird fucking choice to kill the character who is these themes.
Yeah, because once that character's dead,
it can't explore anything.
Yeah, like, it basically, all of that stuff basically gets thrown out the window, so it could just go and just be a traditional murder mystery.
It kind of brings it back in the third act, but I just
don't.
But it
goes way too long without exploring that. So when it comes back, it doesn't hit the same way.
Well, exactly.
Like, and that's the problem. Is like, I think that's like, because one thing I did notice with the movie, and like I think like why like the middle part like drags, is this is the shortest of the three.
Yeah.
It's about 100 minutes.
Yeah.
And the first act's really quick.
Yeah.
And it moves quite well. Like, it's very quick, but it moves at quite a nice pace. But then once it gets to that middle, it just totally, it breaks.
Yeah.
It goes to a screeching halt, and then it just moves, and it's like, so the problem is the film goes from feeling like a tight 100-minute movie to like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's a problem, because it's like, because of that, I basically started like zoning out throughout the middle, just because because you're following these characters that are just not interesting.
Yeah.
And it's like, because the performances are all solid in the movie. There's no bad performances necessarily. It's just these characters don't really have a lot of depth, because they're just people.
Well, that's the thing.
They don't have enough, so it's not enough for me to be. I'm not that engrossed when it's like, I think they're like, you know, the performances are good, but these characters aren't interesting enough for me to just keep watching them all day.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of them. I can't just sit there and just listen to them talk about whatever all day, because they're just not interesting enough.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is I think, and what I was saying about Michelle Yeoh and that, I think it's a film that poses some interesting questions. That second act just can't go anywhere with them.
It can't, like, the film just immediately shoots itself in the foot.
The characters it has to its disposal in that second act, none of them really, until you get some reveals later on, none of them really contribute. Because
a lot of them in the first act barely get a minute of screen time. It's like, it's sort of once the murder mystery starts, that's when these characters are properly introduced, which just doesn't work. Yeah. Because then the problem is I'm not really engaged with these characters, because like, it's one of them, like, one thing I'll give like Knives Out say is that like a lot of those characters, like, I'm interested in them. Yeah. And it's like, even when I'm not thinking about it from the murder mystery angle, because like Glass Onion takes a long time before the murder of that film actually is like revealed. Yeah. It really takes its time to get you introduced to the characters, and then the murder happens. But what's more interesting, but the difference with that film is the structure demands that. Yeah. The structure demands you to sit there and take your time, because once that happened, the film then immediately recontextualize every single thing you've just seen. Yeah, exactly. Whereas Haunting in Venice, like, is kind of different, because it's so tied up in just being a traditional murder mystery. Yeah. To the point of it feels like it wants to explore other things, and like, but it can't. Yeah. Or it wants to do both, but it can't balance them well. Yeah. Because ultimately the murder mystery has to take priority. Yeah. At least in the eyes of what this is, which is a Agatha Christie novel. Yeah. Essentially, and it's like they need, because you know it's Agatha Christie. That's why people read it. That's why people are going to see it, the murder mystery. Yeah. That's what those films are.
Maybe not this one.
They're going to be seeing this one because it's spooky.
Yeah.
Like, no, this one.
I am genuinely curious to see how people react to this one.
Because, yeah, it's not that scary. I mean, like, it's a 12A.
Yeah, that surprised me.
Which, yeah, I was surprised at that.
Because it makes sense.
The way, like, the main death in the movie, the way that goes down, it's pretty graphic for a 12A. Yeah. Like, it's pretty grim, but like, I was surprised it was, because usually
or anything, but
they don't show blood, but the way it's like depicted, it's pretty like
this brutal.
Fucking Venom and Morbius are 15.
True.
Yeah, so I'm like, I feel like those films. I feel like this film's a lot more.
Yeah. No, I can't help but feel a tad frustrated at it. As much as I enjoyed watching it, because fuck me those visuals. Like, you know what I mean? I genuinely would campaign this for the Oscar for cinematography. At least to be nominated.
No, same. I would 100% say it's easily up there with one of the prettiest movies I've seen. Yeah, for sure.
But no, I ultimately am just a bit frustrated by.
It's a film that's very close to being great.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. It's very close to being something great.
Yeah.
It just doesn't quite stick the landing.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is. It's very close, so it doesn't stick. So it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's just fine.
Yeah.
No, I think that's kind of just where I land on it. Is it's fine.
It's all right.
I enjoyed it.
It's good. I would recommend it.
Like it's one of them. If you've seen these movies or you enjoy these type of movies, then I would see it.
Definitely don't go in expecting a horror film.
Do not do that. I mean, like I wasn't. I mean, I was kind of like I figured it would just be like it wouldn't be a straight up horror.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people go into it expecting like a full on like
and then get a fucking
Nun 2 like
Hercule Poirot.
Yeah, but I mean, you got the Nun 2.
True.
If you want to watch a horror movie,
it was definitely one of those.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that's a good horror movie.
Yeah.
You better,
It's all right. We get Expendables 4 next week. That's a horror movie.
Now that, that's grim.